et cetera.
And do you think the way that they've ingratiated themselves into, let's say, the Davos man, as is commonly referred to, the way that they've gotten there is it through economic coercion? Is it through investing in our universities, our think tanks, our lobbyists, as you said, and our corporations, and even the people that are U.S. citizens looking to make profits in China? Is that how they control that narrative?
Let's go back.
How do they get there?
Let's go back to, in 1 week, in January 2017, we had two, I think, seminal speeches. Okay, we had the Davos speech, President Xi, okay, which was the high hosanna to globalism.
Yeah.
And it was, to me, repulsive. Repulsive. How the mainstream media and Davos man just sat there and bought it all and said, what a great leader, what a great humanitarian, what he's going to lead us through about climate, on the world's environment, what he's going to do, for globalization or for the economy. And then you saw Donald Trump's, inaugural address was, I think, 3 days later, in which he said, hey, we're getting back to the nation state. And America is going to start to focus on our sovereignty, and other nations should start thinking about their sovereignty. But this globalization, what's coming out of Davos, is stripped our sovereignty from us, and we're going to reassert that. And 2 years later, which happened this week, was Mike Pence's speech about the new strategy of the United States, which has really been going along for quite a while, which is now kind of engaging China, right? An engagement with China, but not like Henry Kissinger and not like the Thucydides trap crowd. And I know you did this seminal interview with Graham Allison, but not what those guys want, which is to kind of us stumble along and play along with China. This is this is a direct confrontation with China to say we're not going to take it anymore. You've been in economic war with us, and we're going to reassert us. Your question about how they ingratiate themselves, they're the guys who wrote the biggest checks. Right. They wrote checks to the universities. They wrote checks. They've essentially bought off the City of London and Wall Street and the corporations. You should know. I say this in a sense of kind of anger. The great investment banks in London and in New York became the investor relations department for this regime, okay?
In the pursuit of profits.
In the total pursuit of profits. Yes. And corporations became their lobbyists. When Lee He's deputy came to the United States about 4 weeks ago, when they had this kind of last round of trying to put something together in a trade deal, there wasn't much going on, but he sent his deputy and a small contingent to see Steve Mnuchin and the guys at Treasury. They went to, the very first stop they made was to, the day before they went to Treasury, they stopped and they had a meeting with, I think it was 15 or 20 large corporations, the heads of government affairs, and I think the presidents, not the CEOs, because the guy wasn't high enough. And he basically said, hey, boys, you have a problem, right? And you have to figure out how to help us fix it, okay? Another thing, they had, Wang Qishan announced this kind of financial advisory panel. Being on their back foot by the Trump strategy, they kind of said, hey, we need a financial advisory panel to help us understand what the United States wants, what the United States needs. And it was named, Paulson and Schwartzman and all these characters. And it's interesting. When they need somebody to kind of come over and, help intermediate with the United States, they go to the same guys that have been profiting on this. My understanding is that people came back and said, hey, the UN General Assembly is happening. It's opera season in New York. My schedule's full. And Wang Qishan said, hey, boys, I don't think you're listening. We're having a meeting. I want everybody to show up. This is general quarters. And so, no, I think when we look back on this, it's going to be, people are going to be absolutely stunned when they see how the elites, right, of the Western democracies and the United States went along with China and exacerbated a situation when it was quite evident they were at economic war with us.
Yeah. Going back on this one issue, the way that the influence is being pushed through the corporations, we at our firm know that there are there's a couple of handfuls of corporations that each have more than $1 billion in capital that they're trying to get back from China. And they've been unable to get a dime out of China since November of 2016, when China closed its capital account completely. When you were in the administration, did you interface with any of these companies that were going through a lot of, pardon the pun, red tape, trying to get their money out of China?
Listen, the very first thing.
Did they come to appeal to you?
Yeah, I think this will be a big shocker to people. Remember, when Trump won in a complete, upset that nobody saw coming, and particularly you have this post-war, liberal, democratic, rules-based order, okay? The Chinese have done nothing but game the system from day one on every set of rules. The rules are what they determine they are.
Yeah.
Okay? And nobody calls them on it because everybody thinks they're too weak. And so in the corporations, I think
the corporation's afraid to call them on it because they know if they say 100%. That we can't get our money out, they shut their business off.
Shut down.
There's a quid pro quo.
Shut down. They're absolutely furious. Look at when they came back on this whole, by the way, on the entire situation with the tariffs, and tariffs are just not about tariffs and not about protectionism. That's why Trump's done it at such a scale. Remember, before Trump got here, people were talking about $25, $30 billion of tariffs. It was like, oh my God, that's so huge. Trump's program is $500 billion in tariffs, right, to tariff goods, because he knows the Chinese can't respond.
Correct.
And here's why they can't respond. People in the United States have to understand one thing. The Chinese look at us as a tributary state to them, and let me explain that. China's been around for 4,000 years, right? They've had good runs and they've had bad runs, okay? But one thing they know, and the reason they're still organized as a nation.
ここちょっと面白いね。もう一回いいですよ。いいですか。ここよく読んでください。Let me explain.
China's been around for 4,000 years, right? They've had good runs and they've had bad runs. Okay? But one thing they know, and the reason they're still organized as a nation
でかい大陸がまだ still organized as a nation
over 4,000 years, right? They know how to handle allies and they know how to handle bad guys. Okay? Now what they've done is they got this system called barbarian management.
わかります？ Barbarian management.
And they know how to manage barbarians. The way they manage barbarians is they take the leaders of the barbarians and they give them a taste of the good life.
Take the leaders of the barbarians. 要するに日本語なんでしたっけ？作法？遣唐使、遣隋使いたときに
作法みたいな。
作法となんてだっけ？兆候と作法？
要するに彼らをいい思いさせるっていうね。
要するにそのトップリーダー全体にいい思いじゃなくって、その国の問題はお前の管轄であると。でもお前をトップのリーダーであれば、お前の面倒は見てやると。で、そのリーダーにいい思いをさせるという。要するに
彼言ってるのはさ、
はい、
あれですよ。あれ言ってるの中国の4000年の歴史の中で、日本は東夷、東の蛮族。
そう。
それから
野蛮の蛮です。
北南とか南南とか西南とか。
そう
ね、それを言ってるの。
そう。バーバリアンはそのことを言ってます。だって中国はそこを中心にそれ以外がみんな野蛮という考え方だったじゃないですか。
だから僕は先週言った中華思想ってそういうこと。
周りが野蛮であると。自分ら以外が野蛮である。
なんていうか北敵なんとか東夷なんとかっていうのを忘れちゃった。
なんかありますよね。ありますよね。で、そうなんですよ。日本はその東の野蛮でちっちゃいとか、あとはなんか韓国っていうのもなんだっけ、なんか貢ぐからなんかそういう名前がついたとか。
いや、韓国はもともと国扱いしたことない。
朝鮮でしたっけ。なんか
中国は国扱いしたことない。北敵っていうのはあれですよ。今でいうロシアだけど、昔はなんだっけ、キッタンとかさ。
キッタンは僕わからないです。そうです。
そういう国があったんですよ。強い。モンゴル人
の。
モンゴル人。だから、モンゴルは中国を占領したりしてるでしょ。で中国は彼らをやっぱりさ、蛮族扱いしたんですよ。
まあ、ある意味、今でもウイグルとかそういうことですよね。
いや、中国の思想っていうのはもともとさ、中華民族以外は野蛮人だって発想だからね。
OK。じゃあ、OK。で、ここで言ってるのは、
彼はそれ言ってる。
ね、そうです。それで野蛮人の使い方をよく分かっているから、悪い奴らに対しても、仲間にする奴らに対しても、その扱いよく分かっているから、ここまで4000年やってこれたって彼言ってるわけですよ。ワンネーションとしてね。で、仕組みというのが、トップリーダーにいい思いをさせるという。で、それを現代に当てはめると、現代の社長とか、そういうような、国の、権力者を、いい思いをさせて、で、多分、中国の方に貢いでもらったと。投資をしてもらったと。で、投資をしてもらった結果、自分らが壊してきたわけですよ。で、それが、テクニックなわけですよね。でそれについて、ここで 説明をしています。
And you're going to be, they take the management, and they know how to manage barbarians. The way they manage barbarians is they take the leaders of the barbarians and they give them a taste of the good life.
Leader of the barbarians and give them a taste of good life.
And you're going to be something special. You're going to get a special deal. Now, what happens back into the tributary state is whatever happens. That's your problem.
Right.
Okay? So you're going to, in the United States, what they have done for 25 and 30 years is played as a barbarian state.
要するに、過去25、30年間、アメリカは中国にとってその野蛮という扱いを、バーバリアンステート扱いをされてきたわけですと。